Metal Slug.
Also, get some Road Warden music in the background, shall we? For picture time on Million Armies. You know? Ahem. Yeah, the Gulping God has a ton of aspects, and I think it's like technically Gorka Morka somehow or whatever. Oogly boogly. Invent whatever they want, you know. Right outside, Adepticon, and their weird rusty sculpture. Nice, classic Midwest. It was snowing a little bit. It did snow. Little winter wonderland there. Let me go through all the different armies and stuff. Oh, by the way, as always on Discord, I have an event meetup channel for whenever there's a tournament or an event or anything like that on my Discord. There's a place for people to type stuff, and they're like, you know, to meet up, play some Commander, ooh, let's go out to eat or something like that, and Adepticon was no exception. Thanks, backside of the TV. I wonder if that's a Persona reference. Thanks for the follow. And we went to, which has become somewhat of a tradition on Saturday of every Adepticon, the Ramen Annex. Alright, you must use garlic and onikasu. How to make the Jiro style. Fresh garlic, onikasu. You must use 1 spoon good, 2 spoons great, 3 spoons awesome. This is the super spicy stuff they had to add to your ramen. Delicious. Some of the best ramen. Different than normal ramen, but fucking awesome. It is. Most people don't get it. Well, most people didn't play Persona 4 Dancing All Night for like 10,000 hours. But I did. Got him. Anyway, good taste. First time chatter. Rotmeyer Rob, thanks for the tier 2. Ooh, a tier 2? Big tier. Big tier. Let me put up some armies. Let's put up some armies. Just to have as a thumbnail for people. I don't know, looking around. 3 spoons, awesome, absolutely true. Nice having dinner with you as always, Rob. And tier 2 is a big tier. Appreciate it. Meeting Heywoah must be nice for food recommendations. I like food. It may surprise you, but yeah. Ramen Annex, some of the best ramen I've had. It was a great place. Typically we get dim sum. Dim sum's delicious. Didn't go there this time. Went to a Korean fried chicken place. Delicious. Kuma's is kind of a staple. The death metal goth dressed up waiters and waitresses and music. Burga place. Yeah, going all over. I love any food, even if it's not spicy. Light Rob eats at the ramen shop and not the Starfield cigar shop. Yeah, true. Anyway, stories from Adepticon as I just paged through. I walked around and took pictures of just every army I could for the most part from the 2K thing. I got the Road Warden soundtrack in the background, and it is bringing back great memories. What a good game that was. Ahem. This year I participated in the 3,000 point tournament instead of the 2-day 2,000 point tournament. Because I like 3K. You can play more monster trucks at 3K. And BCR scales up pretty well. Pork beef or veggie ramen. Pork. There is no other choice. Veggie Veggie ramen doesn't even compute. Why would you do that? Why would you make a meal without meat in it? It's like drinking decaf coffee. It actually doesn't make sense to me. It's wild. They put it on there seemingly for probably a bunch of people, but I just don't get it. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the 3,000 point tournament. I made a list on stream right before we left. It was 200 IQ, very difficult to play, a lot of really important decisions to make, high skill floor, you know, kind of army, Kragnos and 5 Stonehorn. The play literacy required to run such a list, very high, obviously. It was 2 Frostlord on Stonehorn, 1 Huskard on Stonehorn, 4 Mournfang, Stonehorn Beast Rider, Kragnos, 3,000 exactly. Mono red aggro. It's like Goblin Charbelcher. You flip a coin to try to get a double turn to win the game entirely. And then the turn after that, you'll flip another coin to try to get a double turn and win the game entirely. And if you lose both of those flips, you lose. Hey, better luck next time. That's what you sign up for. When you play an army that is trying to exploit the double turn, and you fail that coin flip, you have to live in the moment. You have to experience total consciousness. You need to be present for that entire turn that you failed the priority for, right? You need to feel it. Take a whiff. You signed up for this, right? You deserve it, you know? You have to be mentally okay with it, in other words. It's just like the all-in Storm combo deck, where your opponent Thoughtseizes is your best card, and then you Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual, Infernal Tutor in response, crack your Lion's Eye Diamond, and your opponent Force of Wills it, and you have no hand and 2 lands in play, just nothing, you're screwed. Hey, that's the kind of deck you signed up for. And then you're going to draw your 1 card every turn where your opponent hits you for 3 just over and over, drawing counterspell after counterspell. You know it, they know it, everybody knows it. And you just got to live there because that's what you signed up for. And that's what I signed up for. The equivalent of. I don't have a picture of my own army because I always forget to have a picture of my own army. But round 1, playing against Slaanesh, 3,000 points of Slaanesh. Had a 33 block of the archers in Slaanesh, Glucose Pork Lion, some other shit, and some other stuff. Just a bunch of guys. You know? And, that was a good game. It was a good and fun game against an opponent, who is playing well, good sportsmanship, talkative, doing back and forth stuff. It was just a entertaining ass game. Very early on, I managed to charge a Frostlord out of Kragnos' thing to kill a little foot hero, exactly 6.5 or so inches away from all of the archers, to do the one clever move that we have, which is Overwhelming Charge, 3d6 as a monster action to fly and land somewhere. So I flew and landed somewhere right next to the archers, which is not a charge, so no Unleash Hell, and rolled hot and just killed all of them. So it was a good start. I'm like, damn, alright, good start. First of all, 30 archers dead, and they hadn't fired a shot the whole game. Got him, right? Immediately. Let's go. And then going into priority, fail priority, no big deal. It's you go, I go. Nothing could be more fair, right? You know, I was doing special things that you do as an ogre player against Slaanesh, such as in ogres, a few, like, there's one leader in the Mournfang units, and the guys sitting on top of the Stonehorn Beast Riders, they have one shot, like in the shooting phase, one shot 4 up to hit. Wounds on 3s and rend 1 damage D3. Against Slaanesh, I don't shoot with them. I don't take my one shot that misses half the time anyway. Because you don't have to shoot, you have to fight in melee, but you don't have to shoot, and it just gives them an opportunity to tempt you to do a D3 mortal wounds in your shooting phase. And so I just eschew rolling those shots to save myself D3 mortal wounds, essentially, on a hit that probably misses anyway. So, you know, doing stuff like that, I managed to get my opponent to lose a battle tactic one of the turns. So every turn I'm getting 5 or 4, and every turn they're getting 5 or 4, except for one where they got 3 instead of 5. Or maybe they got 2 instead of 5, and then another one they got 5 and I got 4. Anyway, I was winning by 2 points because of that all the way to the end of the game. Unfortunately, glucose is huge, and I made a mistake. It was a mistake that probably cost me the game, but I'm not sure what else I would have done. It would have changed the whole thing, I'll tell you. So my plan was, Kragnos is just going to kill Glucose. He's going to charge him. Yeah, if I roll a 7, I'm screwed, but we'll see. He's going to do a bunch of mortal wounds on the charge, and then chop him up. Glucose is a wizard. My grand strat is to kill all wizards. And, you know, all my other units were doing stuff all over the place elsewhere. And it was my intention that Kragnos' job was to kill Glucose. And so I charged Glucose, and I'm reaching for 2d6. And my opponent is like, Glucose is not a monster. And I'm like, excuse me? He's not a monster. Sure enough, Glucose Orskalian on the giant battle barge pulled by 2 monsters, that's not a monster, actually. So I can't do the 2d6 multiplied together million mortal wounds thing that Kragnos does. And so I'm like, oh no, this was my fault, actually. This is a mistake. That means Kragnos probably can't kill Glucose, because at this point in the game, my man had -1 to get hit, an additional -1 to get hit, a 5-up ward, and the funny rule where he heals 1,000,000 every turn. Oh, no, I don't think I'm going to be able to kill this guy. And then 2 turns later, at the end of the game, yeah, I wasn't able to kill that guy, so I failed my grand strat. And the Slaanesh grand strat, I can't remember what it is, but it was real easy, and so he just got it. Damn. Lost by 1. Drop to the grand strat, lose by 1. Really fun game, good game, and very enjoyable. How like Slaanesh to be like, I'm not a monster, I'm just misunderstood. Yeah, true. Probably have 36 or more DP. Yeah, he got 1,000,000 DP. All of my little tiny clever, ooh, I'm not going to do this to do that and try to stop him from getting depravity. He had like 50 depravity. Just from dealing 1,000,000 damage to Stonehorn Beast Riders and stuff. He had so much depravity, he could summon stuff and still have a 5-up. And still have 6's proc mortals or whatever their thing was. So, you know, maybe it was fine, but regardless, it was sick. And he thought it was cool that my basing for my army is, the whole concept is, you know that one monstrous action where you can smash a terrain feature, but it basically doesn't do anything for the most part? Sometimes it matters, but usually not. Almost never, I might even say. Well, I decided to base my army where every Stonehorn is crushing some other army's terrain feature. And so one of the Frost Lords is climbing up an IDK boat and crushing it. One of the Stonehorns is toppling over the OBR Nexus, you know, the Bone-Tied Nexus. Another one is flattening the tubes and pipes and the front face of the pizza oven for Fire Slayers. And what's the other one? Oh yeah, the other one is smashing through a corn altar, and it has the corn symbol like got hooked on part of its horn, and so it's like carrying through it and smashing it into a million pieces. And I'm like, well, I'm working on one for another one. I'm planning on having it be a Slaanesh one. I just don't have the thing left. And the guy's like, you know what? I would give you my terrain feature for my army to be smashed on a base for one of your guys. And I'm like, don't do that, you know. I'll work on it, it's fine. I wouldn't ask something like that, even if you offered. Don't do that. And the guy's like, no, you don't understand. You don't understand. This army, I have sold it and bought it again 3 times. And I'm like, how come? You don't like it, or the rules change? He's like, no. I love Slaanesh. I play Slaanesh forever. But I always want to keep painting it and getting better and improving. So my first Slaanesh army, I sold the whole thing and bought it again and repainted it because I wanted to. And then I sold that one and rebought the entire Slaanesh army again and repainted it. We're on number 3, and I will be doing it again. And I'm like, oh, okay. And after during the last round of the tournament, he came over and he's like, I just broke this off of the base. It's yours. Because this is the last tournament I'll be playing this version of the army. I'll be rebuying it for 4th and repainting it. And so he broke off the Slaanesh mirror of his terrain feature and handed it to me. Like, here it is. A Frostlord will be crushing this thing. And so at that point, I simply had to accept. Unbelievably based. The most hinged Slaanesh player. Also, he's a job creator, right? Other people are playing Slaanesh armies that he sold fully painted, and now they get to play. So he's participating in the economy. This is great. And so now this is going to be right over here at the paint and conversion station. I'm going to be working on, this is going to be on the base for another one of my Stonehorns to be smashing an army's terrain feature. I'm putting it right over there. And also, what a good story for how that came to be. In real life, I like to do things or have things happen in such a way so that, like, it would make a cool story, and I think experiencing something that will later be a cool story is cool, you know? Damn, what a good one here. And so that's it. That's what they did. Unnaturally based. So yeah, that was game 1 of the tournament. I'm like, all right, I'm in for something interesting here, you know? So that was round 1. I lost, but I had a good game, and I think I played very well except for a mistake, which cost me the game, and that's kind of perfect. That's how I like it. if you make a mistake, you should lose. And if you lost, having it be because of a mistake is ideal. It's more annoying if you lose to like pure chance or something. It's great if it's like, it's A-B, right? It's simple. I messed up, I lost. In the future, I won't make that mistake again. So I've improved. And future games where I don't make that mistake, I'll, instead of losing because of it, I'll win because of it. Nothing could be so simple, right? So it's taking a loss because of that is great. It's a good thing. And I got to have fun because the game was fun. Because you can still have fun even if you lose. In fact, as yet another tangent, sometimes I am asked the question, how can you play the same army, basically, for 8 years and 3 editions? Usually it's coming from a person who can't decide. They're just, they get an army, they play it for a while, and then oh, I don't like that anymore, I want to play this new thing. Oh, I don't like that anymore, I want to play the new thing. How do you settle on an army, and how do you just be happy playing the same thing? You know, they would like that. Not everybody needs to like that, but the ones who ask me do. And I don't know how to respond. I think it's a personality thing, maybe. I just like monster trucks. It's fun. I like impact hits. I like being elite and fast. I like mortals on the charge. That shit's fun. It's a fun playstyle. And I like how it's so all in. It's like a reckless tempo army, where you have to take risks and you have to make clever plays and sacrifices, and you win big or you lose big. I like that. Some people don't like that. Some people want a lot of parachutes, a lot of nickel and diming, 55% against the field. No, I like win big or lose big. And if I make a mistake, it's over, you know. But if I do the right thing, then I crush. I like that. Also, find yourself an army that you can lose with and still enjoy. That's one of the big things to me, I think, is that. Find an army you can lose with while still enjoying yourself. And for me, that's Beastclaw. You'd rather lose 0-5 and have 5 great games than go 5-0 and uber smash the 5 games. I don't think there's a meaningful... I don't think those are the opposite of each other. You know? Giga smashing is fun. Dude, completely blasting someone is tons of fun. Taking 2 turns in a row and charging with 7 monsters is hella fun. You know? That's sweet. What's the problem? It's fun when I win, and it's fun when I lose, usually. Unless the person's a dick or something, but, you know. Are they the most win big army? No. The most win big armies in the game are every Alpha Strike army. Those are the most win big armies. The ones that are Alpha Strike. So like KO when it's good, Idnith Deepkin when it was good, Beasts of Chaos, you know. Any of those armies that deploy and then immediately can lift like 800 points of your stuff off the table, those are the most win big armies. Beastclaw is not an Alpha Strike army, though. It can't quite do it. It fiddles around at range for a turn or so and moves a little bit and pre-measures, I don't know, and then counter punches. It doesn't quite have the movement. It doesn't have flying or ranged or teleport into stuff. You know, it doesn't quite alpha. It can, but it's not particularly great at it. To me, you're a true Alpha Strike army if you get to ignore your opponent's attempts at stopping you. So, flying and a million movement, fast, but also great long-range shooting, kind of redeploying or teleporting around or ambushing in from the board edge and shooting a million times, or making an easy charge and then doing a trillion mortal wounds, just, you know, stuff like that. Stormhorn can just like gallop across the table and maybe one of them gets to hit you first turn, maybe. But not quite enough movement, hampered a little too much by terrain, hampered a little too much by chaff. Kragnos is a little too slow, this and that. They're not quite an alpha army. Anyway, that's why you love Stormcast. It lets you be the commander. Sometimes you're outmatched and sometimes you win, but you feel like the commander. Okay. It can alpha if it goes second and then doubles. If your opponent walks into it, sure. If your opponent walks into it, yes, it can alpha. But a lot of people can alpha if your opponent walks into you. BCR's the footsies army, I guess. At least early. You more mean you rather lose having a great game than have the opponent have no chance? No, I love my opponent having no chance. That shit's fun. If you win in a landslide, that's cool. I agree. You just want it to be from skill and not just you rolled sixes. Well, that's different. You know, your opponent getting completely crushed is different than winning with skill versus rolling sixes, right? I guess. So what you mean is you want to win from skill rather than like getting lucky or something. And I think that's different. Imagine playing an army run by a horse fury. Yeah, it sucks, dude. Kragnos looks so dumb. Centaurs are stupid. He looks stupid. It's just too bad that his rules are unbelievably fun and awesome. But that's the cool thing about a miniatures game, is if the shit looks stupid, you just convert it. You just make something else out of it and say, this is technically Kragnos. Got him, you know? That wasn't my army, by the way. I'm just cycling through the pictures I took of Adepticon armies slowly. Luck is also a skill. Better lucky than good. Well, the thing about it is, you can have several different lucky events, right? But you play in such a way to minimize your luck. I win on a 6-up. But if I choose this other unit in my army, I win on a 5-up. And if I make the correct choice on this turn, I win on a 4-up. And ooh, I'm going to choose this spell and because of this spell and this ability, now I win on a 3-up, right? You still have to get lucky to win, or maybe you have to not get unlucky, but the choices you make are shrinking the amount of lucky you have to get, right? And so I think they're intrinsically linked with each other. Anyway, that's how I look at it, I guess. I think the people that say, I don't want to win because I got lucky, I want to win because I played well, I don't want to win because my opponent made a mistake, I want to win because I outplayed them, you know, I've heard various versions of stuff like that. I think it's dumb. I think that's kind of silly. It's silly to say that. It's weird. It's trying to virtue signal some fairness sportsmanship thing, but I think it's failing too. If your opponent makes a mistake and you don't, that's like the definition of outplaying someone. Right? I don't know. That's strange. That's a strange way to think about it, I think. Or maybe I'm the weird one. I'm not sure. I don't want to win by getting lucky. Well, shit, you picked a fucked up game to play then. You know? I don't want to win by outrolling my opponent. Well, you picked a dice game that rolls way more dice than it needs to roll for anything to happen. And you picked a game where you roll for priority. If you don't want to win because you got lucky with dice rolls, brother, you're in the wrong country of games. You are lost. You've lost your way. You're at the soup store. Fucking, I don't know what to tell you. The whole thing is weird. It's posturing in a sense. It's bizarre to me. Also, you have a magic background, and yeah, I have a magic background. You have a chess background, so it's probably, maybe there's a difference there. Sometimes it's okay for the game to be unfair as long as both sides have an equal opportunity to mess up or get unlucky. Well, that's the point. In a game where you can build your own list, that's sort of like what Spezia Post was saying. One of the main differences between Magic the Gathering and chess is that in chess, everyone plays with the exact same pieces. And in Magic, you get to build your own deck. It's custom. And same thing with Age of Sigmar. You get to build your own army. You can choose whatever units you want. You can choose whatever sub-factions, whatever rules, spells, artifacts, traits. You get to customize it. And you have to be allowed to fail. You have to be given the freedom to fail at that for it to be a good game. So, for instance, if they made Age of Sigmar such that anyone had a chance against anyone, right? Basically 50-50, regardless of what units you choose, well then, your choices would be meaningless. Yeah, kinda, right? Like, if they make it so balanced that regardless of what units you choose and rules you use or anything like that, everybody's got like a 50-50 shot, it's sort of like it doesn't matter what your choices are then. If you want your choices to matter, which I think is good in a game where you're given choices, then necessarily you're going to have some that are worse than others. You're going to allow people to build the worst army you've ever seen that goes 0-15 in 3 different tournaments. You allow people to crash and burn that hard because it means the choices you make tangibly matter in a cool, fun way that you can really see represented by those choices. And so it's, you know, it's good and bad. You take the good with the bad. Chess isn't random? Correct. It's kind of random sometimes as to who goes first, but that's about it. Chess is not random. If you don't want to win based on luck, then chess is the game for you, right? Age of Sigmar is not the game for you if you don't want to win based on luck, because sometimes you will. It's a dice-based game, you know. Just joined the stream. How does 4th edition look overall? Cool. We don't know enough specifics for me to really say anything about anything, but everything I heard sounds great. Sounds like a good idea. I don't know how it'll be implemented exactly, but I haven't heard something I didn't like, essentially. I'm hype about it. Isn't the double turn a little bit anyone can win style? No. Okay. If both players are low skill or new to the game, then yes, anyone can win style. But the better you get to the game, the more priority in double turn favors the better player all the way up till like it gets to 100%. It's a comeback mechanic for low tables and mid tables, and in high tables, the better player or like a really, really good player is just leveraging that game mechanic much better than other people. and winning because of it more. Which is, you know, sometimes that's kind of the problem with things like that. Redeemed highlighted message, Dylan Universe, 10,000 double turns. Why are you looking for clothes? At the soup store. Yeah, exactly. Having no element of luck also makes chess very boring and based entirely on pattern recognition. I mostly disagree, but, you know, look, I find basketball to be one of the most boring sports to watch ever. In fact, I find most sports to be boring to watch. Football, basketball, golf, fucking tennis is, to me, as an old nerd, sports are boring to watch. I like to watch chess. Chess is like interesting and sometimes even exciting to watch, in my opinion. That kind of just depends on your taste, I think. There's a lot of pattern recognition to it, but there's a lot more to it as well. You know, chess, that is. There's the Death Dealer guy. There he is. The three brothers, Blight Krieging it up. Lots of yellow. Lots of hippie yellow on here. Anyway, Trouble Vision, like, yeah, it just depends on the audience, right? Whether they think that's boring or not. I think games that are too random are also boring. Like, I don't want to watch somebody rock, paper, scissors or flip coins. It's like pure random, but it's the most boring because then there's no skill, right? But skill meaning interesting is also like a personal preference, right? So, yeah, it looks like a Plague Claw to me. If you find a couple of old dudes playing backgammon in a coffee shop, you can lose all the cash in your pockets at a skill-based dice game. Yeah, for sure. You can have skill in rock, paper, scissors. Here's the real question. Is the skill of rock, paper, scissors just how good you are at slightly cheating? I wonder. I don't know. It was just a throwaway example. Uniform. Cookie tray based. True. Cookie tray, and definitely using magnets as well. Rock, paper, scissors has a psychological aspect. I think it does in a sense, yeah, like a Princess Bride kind of thing. I rather like the scheme. Orange, blue, and then like silvery bone. You can fit purple and a little bit of teal in there and it blends right in. That's a lot of Harbingers. And the Bone Man. Snow Eater cohorts. Blue. Oh, this one had a bunch of the new guys. The new blood. The Flappy Boys. No Usharan. That's bone. And the lettering is something called Cillian Rail. Jesus. Kind of unfinished, but you can still show up. No big deal. Red, white, and gold, looking good. A casual blend. A lot of endless spells in there. Foot Hero Assassin detected. Anime Wind Fox detected. More flesh eaters. Oh, it's the guy who runs the tournaments at Adepticon. Running the teams tournament, the teams tournament, the 3K, but not the 2K. Dr. Kevin was running the, or Dr. Nick, I mean, was running the 2K. I'm like, so how do you like Age of Sigmar? And then this was his face. And then I'm like, so how do you like BCP scoring? And then it changed. He had a lot to tell me, and I almost recorded it, but decided not to. Because it was just him complaining about clerical TO stuff. You know, these guys are heroes. They put a lot on their shoulders for little to no pay and thankless. This cotton candy colored ground they're all standing on reminds me of planets from No Man's Sky. Croak and a Slan. And a Skink Starmaster, I think is what that is. Little stars on the endless spell there. Oh, ghosty boys. Fresh off getting 2-inch reach with those great swords. That's a lot of reach. Oh, the Bringy Dingy Man, the boat boss. And rare sighting nowadays of Kronspine. You don't see that one out in the wild very often, but here it is. You see a lot of people took Pendulum. You just want D6 Mortal Wounds. Without any stupid, funny business. So I want to cast a spell that does D6 Mortal Wounds. Gimme. You know? Early Hearthstone had a season where win rates heavily depended on the Shaman getting a totem element on turn 2. The game is always random, but players hate this kind of random because the entire game hinged on on the same coin flip every time. It's like a psychographic profile thing. In general, spikes hate randomness because they like control. They want to be in control of their wins and losses. They want their decisions to matter. And they hate when stuff is outside their control. They hate randomness, essentially. The quintessential casual players love randomness. Because they're not trying to think or make decisions. They just want exciting things to happen. And rolling a die is exciting. Because anything could happen, right? Nice Slanesh army here. Oh yeah, the score sheet. I took a picture of somebody's custom score sheet they made with little magnet stuff. And the tracks, command points, and heroic stuff. It had different things you could put on top of it. I think it's a dry erase kind of thing. It stacks on top of it. Oh, damn. Oh, look at that. It did the magnets hold. Let's go. And then, oh, this is battle tactics and battle traits. Ooh, it snaps right on there. He plays Tzeentch, and so there's your grand strat. There's your destiny dice. You can, yeah. Kind of nice. This is the Christmas Tzeentch, complete with angry Christmas tree. Everybody's has presents and gifts and lists. Big old candy canes. Portal to, I don't know, Dutch country. Candy cane fighters. Shooting streams of presents and stuff at you with a big old Santa hat. Holding his bag of toys. Do Tzeentchy boys still spam Kronspine? I don't know what Tzeentch does. This person's using Kronspine. Although spam is kind of weird because you can only play one. I think so. This person was like, I'm the best Tzeentch player. And that sentence ended with a period. Guy's like, I'm the best Tzeentch player. And I think he is. Like, if you wanna get technical, there's like leaderboards with points and stuff, and he was on that list in first place and had like won the most stuff. So it wasn't arrogance, it was simply fact. And I bring this up because he's using a Kronspine and he's the best Tzeentch player. So even though I don't know about Tzeentch armies, I guess the answer is yes, they do use Kronspine. And it's probably right, I guess, because he's the best. Yeah, Caleb Walters is the guy's name. It was cool. Oh, and he was the guy with these things. He makes like magnetized measuring sticks with a bunch of cool stuff in them, and I messaged him last year about getting some. Because I'm like, oh, that's clever. I want all those different, you know, this one's 9, this one's 12. It'd be kind of nice. And he's like, oh yeah, sure thing, man. I'll make you some. All right. And I never heard back from him again. And I forgot who he was, and I lost his name and number and everything. And then I'm walking past and taking pictures of armies, and he's like, oh, hey, you're Heywoah. A year ago, I said I would make you stuff. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, here it is. Oh, okay. Great, because I lost your name and contact info. And he's like, yeah, I don't do anything on the internet. I got a phone that sends texts. That's it. And I'm like, oh, okay. Every text I get is just sent to like auto spam, you know? And so I don't even know. I don't text on my phone at all. All right, so fair enough. So it's like, here you go. So now I got a bunch of those magnetized sticks and stuff. And he's like, I'm just going to give them to you. And I'm like, no, I'll pay for them. What do they cost normally? And all that. And he tried over and over to give them to me for free. But I resisted because I am a disgusting capitalist who feels that people should be paid for their work. And so I paid the man for his work. It was rude of me to try to pay him for his labor, but I did it. To the enjoyment of everyone standing around there who were just like laughing about it. Not for voting. This is a display board, kinda. Here's a video. It's a portal, you see. Not for voting. Not for voting. Oh, you played against him round 1 in teams, Karneth? Did he feel like the best Tzeentch player? I mean, the stats speak for themselves, but... half the fun of playing Tzeentch is being bad and saying just as planned every turn? Sure. That's disgusting, Heywoah, unsubbed. Yeah, I've noticed a decreased popularity in it over time. Bunch of weirdos, I gotta say. Oh. The Thomas Super Collider? Oh, shit. Anyway, candidate for best painted. A lot of flock on those bases. Look at that blending. So good. Actually really good. Please forgive these pictures. It looks a lot better in real life. All of the ones you will be seeing here. Smooth as butter brown. My lady up here. Pirates of the Mobbibian. he tried. Making a big old pirate ship. The wind in their sails, a little dinghy for the gits down here. They all got little pirate hats and tattoos and stuff. Skull and crossbones. Obviously had to do the pirate man with the feather in his cap. Some treasure, maw poles and stuff. Good, clean, fun, and built an entire boat. Fun. Fun out of 10. Remember fun? This is the kind of fun stuff we just do at AOS tournaments. Nobody really cares essentially what happens in the tournament. You're just doing creative stuff and having fun. Martin Orlando, the Wandering Prince, aka Good Painter Stormcast Man. The most customized Slaves to Darkness I've ever seen, probably. Built out of... Every one of these models is built out of like 4 different models. Stormcast, COS, Slaves to Darkness, Vampires, Dwarves. It's a Slaves to Darkness army that doesn't think it's a Slaves to Darkness army. Legs. The Queen. The Queen. Ogre men up here. Everything, every single thing is a counts as. I think I get closer pictures earlier. Yeah, some Cruel Boy slaves to bits. Legs out of 10. What is Alariel? Is it Archeon? Damn, you know, I don't even know. There's some closer pictures of it elsewhere. Oh, he's got the plushie. I like the off color. Like it's not red. It's not red, yellow, blue. It's just color shifted a little bit. Maybe she's Archeon. I'm not sure. I don't know what point level they were playing at. What else could be that circle base, though, I wonder? Maybe I think the base looked a little too big for it being a Manticore. I'm not sure. Maybe a Demon Prince? Maybe a Demon Prince for summoning. Oh, it's Be'lakor. You're right, Devin Courtman. It's Be'lakor. Obviously. Yeah, that makes more sense. Because there's too many other things for it to be Archeon. Because it wouldn't fit in points. It's definitely Be'lakor. It has to be. That makes perfect sense.
Twitch Prime.
Does your army have a theme or a backstory other than they like to smash other terrain pieces? Are they filled with rage? That the Maw Pot is meh? No, I gotta... for one of Steve Herner's events, I wrote up this backstory. They're kind of Slaanesh worshippers a little bit, but what they think of as Slaanesh worshippers. And it's a weird cast of characters. There's one of their Hussguards fancies himself an artist. And he does all their tattoos, and he draws giant tapestries out of the sails that are ripped up and connected to their maw poles and stuff. And he's in typical ogre fashion. He fancies himself an artist, and so he calls himself Humongous Rembrandt. Because it's the only artist he's ever heard of, and so he's like Rembrandt except huge. And so in his mind, that means he's better, you know? Heywoah, is that the guy who was on Vince's stream? Yeah, I think Martin Orlando was certainly on Warhammer Weekly a few times, for sure. Oh, marked missing. Display board coming soon in 30 minutes, and I took the picture now. Hey, sorry. Sorry, Yellow. Is that an Ogre Tyrant in the back of the Nurgle setup? Let's check. No. I think it's just a custom reposed other one. I don't believe that's a Tyrant. They're all sheep. It's sheeps of chaos. Every single one is converted into a sheep. Well, not every single one. I've seen this one before. It's fun. I like when they go full theming, you know? Max theme. Is that the skateboarding on the Endless Spell over here? He's skating. No, that's a oh, what's it called? Something shaman on disc. It's a hero. It's actually kind of good. Yeah, it's not a skateboard, it's a disc. I can't remember what the unit is called. Zangor Shaman. I think it's Zangor Shaman on disc, I think. I think I took a picture of the board later. Oh, geez. Okay. Well, this one, first of all, this is not STL. This is not 3D printed. All of this is scratch built. Each of the guys as well. What a cool art style. Kind of reminds me of Stray, like Stray's art style. Or like Borderlands, except for adults, you know? A touch Bastion, maybe? Yeah, this is KO. It's ridiculous. Jonathan Ho has a pretty kick-ass hobby YouTube channel. I had not heard of him before this, but looking at his work, I definitely buy that he has a hobby YouTube channel that's very good. Because seeing his work, he even put little Adepticon 2024 posters in there. Jesus. Funny little drawings on all this stuff. Yeah, a little bit of Nier, maybe. More colorful Nier. So cool. Yeah, that's an ironclad. The big thing. Michael Austin. Slavs to Darkness. Just cool dudes. There were a lot of Ionis conversions because the model looks awesome and everyone wants to convert it for their stuff. Slaves to Darkness, Chaos Lord on Ionis who's chained up. Like, the story is this guy killed Ionis and put his mount in ball and chains and somehow magically controls him, and so now he's using him. Manta Lord. It's Manaroth, right? From Warcraft. Blue and orange dynamic DVD cover. Look at this dude in the back, though. Dual wielding axes, the 40k new statue guy. This guy likes to convert. Looks sick. Also, don't sleep on over here. Lots of conversions in this army. Looking good. Tiny lady with book. Massive wings. Oh. The most classic Iron Jaws ever that happened to be blue. Molten weapons, still hot from the forge, I guess. Just really, really classic, painty, good stuff. Hey, look at this brand new boy. Cool looking weapons. Really stand out for sure. Oh, this was Vince paint judging for Adepticon. Telling this guy, this is why this guy here, this sucks. This sucks. This is why you suck. No, I'm kidding. He was being very positive and giving good advice. You could sit next to your stuff, and when the paint judge came around, they would like answer any questions you had and give you tips and stuff like, well, all right, so here when you did this, I think, you know, you could try this, or you could do this other thing, or this color doesn't work, or here's a cool technique you could try, and they would just essentially talk with you if you wanted, which is kind of nice. See any Fire Slayers? Oh my god, did I see zero? There, surely there's not zero. I'm trying to remember. I took pictures of everything I mostly could. So we'll see as we're going through them, but I can't remember. Look at these custom guys. And dogs. Look at this guy here. Isn't that sick? What a nice conversion that is. Just exploding out, the center of attention. Climbing atop the building there. Dragon perched in the background. I wonder if I got a different... angle for this one here. This dude's sick as well. Age of Sigmar players really like to customize their stuff, which is good. No, I guess I didn't. Big display board. Any Tomb Kings in the chat? Oh, really? Tomb King counts as, I guess. Yeah, Tomb King Stormcast. Here's some cities of Sigmar. Outside their castle walls. A nice autumnal scene. Got some leaves falling from the trees. Nice shiny new armors. That old school wizard with the straight orange robes. The Chad over here on horseback. And cities look so good. Yeah, look at these guys here. So much steel. I was taking a picture of this and the guy's like, wait, I have more models to put on. And he just dumped a bunch of Reavers right in the center and is like, okay, now take it. All right. Just take a Tupperware thing and just dump out a bunch of Reavers. There we go. Now they're all there. Corn players, am I right? I did something similar to this, which is why I really liked it. I'm like, dude, I did the same thing. I got this tree for a model conversion as well. It's an awesome tree for a conversion. I wonder if it's like it's right here. I can show you. I did my own conversion, except it's on a base. This is technically a 40 millimeter base here, and I got it's not gonna focus, unfortunately, but he's got the orange hat for gun season up there, and then the cut in half polar bear on his back and everything like that up there with the bamboo. This is technically a blood pelt hunter in a tree stand, and 40 mil base, easy, perfect. And I used the same terrain feature. I'm just like, it's sick. That's great. That was a good one. I also have a little miniature jupes on top of the little raccoon jupes, which the camera won't focus for some reason, so. And he's to fill that base with lead. Dude, I got, like, inside the tree, I have, like, pig iron. I'm just like, please don't tip over. I gotta weigh this thing down on the bottom. Nobody bumped the table. Would it be worth waiting to buy Skaven with the new boxes coming, or get some now? It's worth waiting for sure. 100%. You don't even know what to buy. What's good? What do you want to play with? What would be fun to play with? We don't know. What's going to stick around? What's going away? Don't know. So, 100% wait. So as to be a smart shopper, Basically, the only sure thing is what? Like, whatever their warp terrain feature is, because their terrain feature is probably not going to change. But anything else is kind of up for grabs. Who knows? So, yeah, gnaw holes. That's it. Grounded KO with an ironclad on 8-wheeler. War has changed. This shit's actually sick. Isn't this cool? I like it. Fireslayer head. Because the leader has to be a Chad. You know this guy? He played at one of your local shows. Oh yeah, that's a Gotrek head, actually. You're right. That's funny. This is a cool tank. Doesn't it remind... The color scheme is, like, perfect, and how silly it is. It reminds me of Metal Slug, doesn't it? It's very Metal Slug. In silly feeling and look and color scheme. Which I very appreciate. A weapon to surpass gunboats, yeah. Or Dominion Tank Police, another all-time classic. Look at this display board. Display board with the map and compass rose, and got the big old pipe there. Right here's the treasure. Nicely painted gunboats and special symbols on the side. They are the mappers. Isn't that cool? Very nice. Yeah, oh, also, by the way, look at the tokens. These aren't just like some tokens they found, right? It's got KO faces on them and text. These are custom tokens. We're not skimping over here. Little Aether Golds. And also leather for the for the handles. Taking plywood and just stain painting it 17 times so it looks like this. Sand it down maybe. Looking good. These were painted very nicely from what I remember. Big old display board, all these archers. Nice colors. One of each, double quarter pounder, and the big hammer slammer. Unfortunately, not quite done painting everything, but, hey, good work anyway. Oh, yeah. This shit was hot. This one looked good. All three of the, damn. All three of the hero monsters were pretty customized, pretty unique. Super cool looking. I'm almost certain I got close-ups of all of them. Yeah, I did. Look at this dude. Look at this dude. Using a lance. Fucking bullet holes in the wing, using it to block getting shot from people. Tons of little base work that's very nice. Super cool. And then the portal they're all coming out of. Looks like that warband. Milady up here with the swirly, shiny blood. And the shiny blood hands coming out of the blood crypt, right? Summoning it out. Looks quite nice. Nice Soulblight army. And then Prince Longdong himself with some good oxidation on this copper for the top of these roofs. Really, look at how cool this effect is. How it's losing all of its skin and then it's just kind of like the skeleton, a little bit of muscle here. I think this effect works so well, doesn't it? On Crazy. Oh, that was the really cool part for me. Yeah, good use of color. Some cool tech. Got some classic Slaves to Darkness. B. Laker. What ya fucking knights? Chaos Chosen, big. Just needed a 3 of the slappers. Freehand banner. With Cerberus, triple-headed dog. That's your teammate's army, the Soulblight stuff. It looks good. I was a big fan. It's looking good. Oh, it was Jason Grenier, I guess. I guess I wanted to take a picture of the name for some reason. Your plan is to play next year. It was your first Adepticon. Yeah, sweet. My advice for Adepticon is don't enter too many events. Because you do want some time to walk around and just socialize and stuff. So don't be in like a tournament every day or even 3 out of the 4 days if you can help it. When you're scheduling, it's easy to overschedule. You do want to chill and go out to eat with people and play a game of Commander or just be able to walk around and see what's in the vendor room and stuff like that. But yeah, the 3K was a 1-dayer, yes. Wear comfy shoes with good insoles, yeah, for sure. Hot Blades coming through. Hot Blades. Another Ionis. With non-metallics. Oh yeah, absolute radioactive green fire. The green fire dragons. I think a Stormcast army. I think. These are probably Aether. These are probably Aetherlings. And these are a bunch of flappy boys. Maybe using Stormcast rules, but vampire look? I'm not sure. Or it could be a slaves. It could be a Soulblight Gravelord's army, and these are all like, just zombie dragons with no things riding on them. I think that's more likely because Stormcast would need to run more stuff than this. I don't think these count as battle line for them. Oh wait, over here, yeah. Soulblight Gravelord's Avengori, yeah. The flying vampire guy looking kind of cool too. Yeah, you're right. The bases are wrong for that. They're more oblong. And then also I didn't see the skull because I was looking at all the green. Too true. Oh yeah, here's Martin's stuff again. He also has ogres in there and a little box filled with a city. I zoomed in on some of the customizations because they're just great. Dude, wide gaming, big horse rider. Jesus. All the different... He had like a backstory for every single symbol and heraldry and emblem on everything. Like a backstory for just everything in all of these. All the different houses and all the different everything. Some mercenaries in there. In a little town. This dude... The reaction image. This is really cool looking armor too. These dudes. These dudes. Oh, this is that swirly dark elf lady from 40k, right? You can tell it slaves to darkness because you have Slaanesh, Tzeentch, Khorne, and Nurgle. That's from Warcry, okay. Pardon me. I don't think that's all of the army pictures, but it might be. Now we're getting into the stuff that I took for Golden Demon. We're display casing. I tried. The lighting in here is so shit for taking pictures. It's a rough one, but I tried. Oh yeah, outside the convention center. Just taking pictures of different rooms and stuff. Oh, nope, never mind. We got a bunch of... I took a picture of a bunch of games. Here we have a mirror match. And what happens in a mirror match is there's still only one moon. You just fight for control over it, which is kind of interesting. Biggs, the Biggs. Versus Martin Orlando. Good Painter Stormcast Man, later Good Painter Lumineth Man, later the Wandering Slaves Player Painter Man. Display casing. Nurgle v Khorne. Skaven, double lightning cannon, double mutant. Thanquol. Bunch of Ogres. Versus Nurgle with a Guo, Blowab Rotspawn maybe. Soulblight versus Khorne. I saw the green and I didn't zoom in. You're entirely right. They're just in a swamp. It's a bunch of, I mean, that's a corpse cart, right? So, no, you're right. Green, underwater, algae-infested Adepticon versus corn. You're hyped for the big Skaven cannons, same. IDK versus OBR. a custom version of that. Alright. Silly little boys. And then he's got a little, oh, this is, oh no, this is where the sun is. Ooh. The moon. I like how each one of these guys is just like very full, different colored. Versus lots of Nighthaunt. And then one Manfred. Oh yeah, I guess I got a zoomed in picture of him over here. I just thought it was quaint that they were colored like Skittles or something. Oh, that's your shop's shirt? SB Age of Sigmar? Nice. Got some representation. From the local store. Oh, I had to take a picture of somebody else using a bunch of Fukin monsters, a bunch of Beast Claw stuff against Nurgle. Some mixed ogres, actually more just Gutbusters with one Frostlord versus Slanesh. Cool color scheme FEC versus Slaves to Darkness. This guy going all in. Mornfang at 150 for 2. I'm all in. I asked him about it. He's using the run and charge battalion as well. And then what looks to be a Frostlord on Thundertusk. Which is wild to me. 2 Thundertusks, one of which is a Frostlord version. Wild. I didn't catch up to see how he ended up doing. A confused cyborg, thanks for the follow. Did you miss any rules? If so, what's the TLDR? I'm excited about everything I heard. The only concern is like how well they implement what their basic ideas were. But as I was hearing the basic ideas, I thought they were good. Like, indexes are good as an idea. I mean, if they do a bad job with them, it'll suck. But, like, overall, yeah, I like indexes. More stuff to do on your opponent's turn. Good. Unless they fuck up and do it bad, but as a general idea, good. Battle tactics are way less important and there's fewer of them. Good. There's some sort of comeback mechanic added to the late game. Alright, good. I don't know what it is, but good. It's kind of like that, so for all this stuff. I was left saying good over and over, but also I don't know exactly how any of them are implemented, so we're not sure. Supposedly you can charge in your opponent's turn sometimes. You can cast spells in your opponent's turn sometimes. Cool. I wonder how, I don't know what the mechanics of it are. The most excited Daughters of Cain player. Army was painted pretty well, actually. Casually destroying his opponent's mental game. Just some funny little boys against Stormcast. Just some silly little men. OBR VSB GL. Are those actual Black Knights? Damn. That's a lot of Black Knights to see play. Yeah, M&M squigs. What's this? Cruel Boys with... Alright. Every rule Any rule you want to know about, I printed it out and I put it on this plastic. Here you go. Little mixed drink. Solid gold OBR with the fucking t-shirt. Some more ogres. Big boys plus Kragnos. You love to see it. Against Big Oosh. And a lot of chaff. Interesting. Yeah, the Cobra Kai shirt. Yeah, there's about this much space on each end of your play area. So you had a pretty decent amount of space. That's something that is important. If you don't have anywhere to put anything, what are you doing, right? Ahem. Hold up. I'll be right back. I should tell some more stories. I got a story or two. I might make a YouTube video out of the stories, though. Because there's a good one or two. You know, the Soothsayer brings up a good point. All these nice objective markers got to cut down to 3 from the center now. Most objective markers, at least that I was looking at, have a 6, and then they have a 3 circle as well to cover all their bases. But imagine how the game would change if every objective was 3 instead of 6. You gotta fight for that space on there, you know? Kind of interesting. Oh, I got a story. So I was at the, I was waiting in line at Starbucks inside the convention center because I wanted a Kohi, Kohi Des, right? And it's like, I don't know, 10 a.m. or something. It's not the meme. It's not, I had to wake up at 11. I had to eat a Panera bread and take my boyfriend's huge dick for a walk in the park first. Talk about YouTube videos and make $1,000. It sucks. I have a headache, tummy hurt, It's not that. But, so I'm waiting in line at Starbucks. Yeah, Starbies. Yeah. And I saw someone, one person, not the person in front of me, but the person after that. 2 people in front of me. I saw someone who looked very familiar. I'm like, could it be? Would he go to Adepticon, though? And so I'm doing one of these, right? Maybe we can see the badge. We can see the badge on the lariat there. And sure enough, I saw the last name was Rose. Matt Rose, sighted in the wild, but also trapped in line, in a long line at Starbucks. Oh shit, let's go. Backstory time. I was in the back channels, in the connections, in the Discords and instant messenger groups, and this person knows all the TOs, knows this person who works for Games Workshop. I was trying for a little while to get in contact with Matt Rose for an interview, to do an interview, and then make a YouTube video out of it. But, the thing is, Games Workshop does not do interviews. They don't allow it. The only interviews they do is interviews that they do, right? And so it was cut off. Brick walled. Absolutely not. But then here I am standing next to him, person in between. Let's go. Investigative journalist Heywoah. And so I'm like, are you Matt Rose? And he turns around, yeah. And I'm like shaking his hand. Love the work you did on AOS. Great work. Thanks for helping us out. All this other stuff. Real positive. And just struck up a conversation since we were just in line anyway. And it was great. I didn't think he would be there. And so I had a good old conversation with Matt Rose, asking him all sorts of stuff, just talking about things, sliding in some of the questions I would have asked in an interview. Well, just a few, not all of them. It wasn't, I don't think I was pestering him exactly. We were just talking. And he's like, I think you'll really like fourth edition. You're gonna have to tell me you're gonna have to say your thoughts on it or whatever, because he saw that I was Heywoah and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm the guy who does all the every army in whatever minutes. I do one of those every edition. He's like, oh yeah, mm-hmm. Knew about those. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm looking forward to fourth edition. Oh, what little I've heard sounds real good to me. I'll make a YouTube video about it for sure. And then I joked with him, I'll make the thumbnail big red letters, down arrow, GW dying, question mark, your face on a bodybuilder's physique, holding the game up like Atlas and everything like that. And we were laughing about it. And he's like, I have seen people do that. I have seen my face on bodybuilders photoshopped. And I'm like, that was me. That was me. I don't think anyone else is retarded enough to do that to somebody. That was me, and I got a kick out of it. That he knows, he's a knower, he saw it. And so one of the things I asked him was, what army do you play? It's the most boring question, but it's kind of interesting anyway, So what army do you play? I heard on one of your designer interviews that it's Lumineth. And he's like, I mean, I do play Lumineth a little, but I play a little bit of all sorts of armies. And he listed just 5 or 6 of them, or even 7 of them, just rapid fire. Like, yeah, I've played, I play a little bit. I got KO, I got Lumineth, I got this, I got that, I got this other one, I got this one, Because, if you're going to write rules for stuff, you got to kind of play it to understand a little bit. And in my head, I'm like, this is not profound. But I'm hearing a Games Workshop rules writer, the game designer, say it. It actually becomes profound when you hear a Games Workshop person say it, I'm like, yes, good. Yes, you do have to kind of play it to write rules for it. You are right. But the army I really play, he says, my main army, now and forever, is Flesh Eater Courts, he said. So we have it. Now we know. That's the main army. And so then I did one of those, like, internet hermit who never goes outside memes by accident a little too hard against a normal person, and it creates a funny moment. I'm like, oh, Flesh Eater Courts? How do you like Oosh? And he's like, what? Big Oosh? What? Usharan. Usharan. Oh. The fuck? Yeah, he's good, and he just starts going into his talking about stuff. He didn't know the meme name for Usharan. He didn't connect the dots. I wouldn't expect him to. Saying it like that, it almost sounds like you were setting up a Ligma joke. No, I wasn't. I wasn't. I just meme too hard in real life. But then he said something that, again, is not profound, but hearing from a Games Workshop person, it is profound. And he's like, yeah, I've played with Usharan a few times. He's fun and viable. I think we got Usharan correct. We're happy with how he is, because he's viable, but he doesn't feel like you have to play him. He's not required. And that's our target for where we want centerpiece monster heroes to be. We want them to be viable, but not feel required. And I think he's probably right. Obviously, he's right about the philosophy of it, because that's just the correct philosophy. But I also think he's right about Usharan. viable but not required. Marathi, Marathi entered my brain at the exact moment he was saying that. I'm not gonna bust his balls about it though in real life. Oh, what about Marathi? Fucked up there, huh? He was using words like intention, our target, what we would like. Okay, Marathi isn't quite that. But it's nice to hear what their intentions are, because that's probably in a long enough timeline where things will end up. And that's good. You know? Same with Teclis when the book came out, didn't quite hit the target there. But it's good that that's their target. That you could imagine Age of Sigmar in a different world that's more like War Machine or more like Commander, where your centerpiece is just required. That's the army you're playing. Are you playing Doc? Marathi. Are you playing FEC? Oosh, Nagash is like necessary or something like that. Not playing Catacross, do you like to lose, right? It could be like that, where you just have to take the centerpiece no matter what, and it's that type of game. But it's kind of nice to hear that that's not what they're going for, Ahem. I also heard that I think directly in the rules, like officially, battle tactics and whatever points you score during a game will not be a tiebreaker. That's what I heard. Which is fantastic news, if true. It's going to be strength of schedule, obviously, because there really isn't another good choice there. And so that was another thing if true, I'm pretty excited about Fourth for codifying it into the rules that, battle tactics, how hard you smash your opponent doesn't like reward you somehow in the tournament structure itself, which is silly. And kind of undercutting TOs, right? By just going over their head and be like, don't do this, it sucks, right? I hope that's true. Anyway, I talked to him for a while. I can't remember everything off the top of my head, but I took notes afterwards. So maybe I'll do a vid about it. And then Vince came over and talked about painting and stuff. And, when are you free for Commander? Finally got to play some Commander with Vince and the rest of them. What was it? Saturday night, I think. Heard from him then, or in general? What I heard, the strength of schedule thing, I heard that from the TO running the 2K championship. The implication that he told me it was he had heard it from huge TOs in a TO network kind of learn stuff so that they can better prepare for their next events and stuff. And so it's about the most dude trust me you could ever trust, I guess. But it is from that. It was not from Matt Rose, for instance. No Need for Gravity things is a tier 1, 6 months. Yo, those are some good horses. Yeah, even though the lighting is super yellow, right? Any horsies in the chat? Lumen Ath. You're happy with Fourth so long as they don't take out casting like in 10E 40k? Yeah, for me, I don't have too many, this guy's scratching. I don't have too many, like, please God don't do this kind of things for the most part as it pertains to 4th edition. Most everything I've heard has been positive, I think. Ahem. I was hoping that the game would focus much less on battle tactics. I think it's going to. That's great. They're giving us more stuff to do on our opponent's turn. Good. Softening the double turn even more by making it more of a choice. Sure, it should be more of a choice. Getting rid of weapon ranges. Great. Love it. I still would like to keep a magic phase. I think magic is special in a fantasy game, and it should keep its specialness by being a big part of the hero phase or getting its own phase or something like that. I hope they don't just get rid of it. It kind of makes sense to get rid of it in 40k. It's more of a shooting game than a magic game. Yeah, a bunch of factions can do psychic stuff, but it's not like all of them. I don't know. I don't know the game well enough to say whether it was a good thing or a bad thing. It just, if you have to do it to one game, it makes more sense to do it in 40k than in AOS. I kind of hope they don't. Pestering Pickle, thanks for the 2 tier 1s. Appreciate it. Landed on Tom Sawyer. Today's Tom Sawyer. Damn. But anyway, yeah, what I was looking... The things that I didn't think they would do that maybe they are in 4th is like, go to Strength of Schedule, get that Battle Tactics, rewarding win more against weak opponents shit out of here for tiebreakers. Good. Yeah, everything else seems kind of nice. The only thing I haven't heard anything about that I hope Unleash Hell is just out. Get it out. Speaking of 40k rules, shooting game rules, yeah, Overwatch or whatever they call it makes a lot of sense in a shooting game. In a fantasy game where everybody melees, I think Unleash Hell is 40k fan fiction. Get it out of AOS entirely, in my IMO. And I'm probably the army most easily able to get around it. I just think it just totally doesn't fit in a game like this, and it's kind of toxic in any case. It was weird for everybody to complain about shooting for 6 years and they give them Unleash Hell. That's weird. Put it on a unit maybe, but not as a court rule. Get that out of here. Can't believe they took the most unpopular ability from 40k and put it in AOS. Yeah, weird. Oh, I did take a picture of the terrain feature with the Beasts of Chaos where everyone was converted into being a sheep. A sheeple. Everyone a shep. A different Ram Ranch, yeah. 18 naked cowboys at Ram Ranch. Big hard cocks. Want to get sucked. Some Lumineth from the back. Apparently they're all made into female Beasts of Chaos. Yeah, they're all sheeps. They're all sheeps. Yu Fang, if you will. Oh, with Matt Rose, I talked a little bit about like his design philosophy and some stuff, where he came from. He came in from video games, and then gets to work on this, and it's funny because I'm like, oh, you know, hearing him talk, it's like, oh yeah, we're looking at data, and then we're making changes based on the data towards a target, which is our intent. And then after we do that, we then see what the changes have done. And then we iterate on it if it needs to be iterated on. Like, yeah, good. That's, yes. They didn't do that before. They didn't do any of that before. Good. Great. Oh, the Slaves versus Slaves was your army? Hold up. Right here. Right here. The Bigs. versus. Damn, that's a lot of cav. Ooh, and a cock meta, cockatrice. He charged you next turn and lost half of his army. Damn, get blasted. Did Ogroids go down in points? You see them a lot now. I think they used to be 170 for 3 and now they're 150 for 3. Somebody correct me though. The thing with Ogroids is they look cool. They do kind of a shitload of damage because they're Ren 2 damage 3. But when they get countercharged, they just die. So what you do for them is you put them in the back, and then when your front lines die, they are the countercharge. And so they're a real good points drop. Do you think they are worth it now? I'm trying to think where to fit them nowadays. I don't think a Mournfang-centric army works. Even though they're like considerably cheaper. 20 points off a unit that you ostensibly might be spamming is a big discount, right? 150 for 2 of them. It's the problem I think is I just don't think a Mournfang centered army is worth doing. They probably cost what they should now. 150 is probably correct, but the problem is if you're running a bunch of them, their sub-faction sucks. They don't have good impact hits. They're not great at capturing. They just don't interact with the Ogre rules very well. The best they can do is mortals on 5s. They kind of outrace. You sort of want to play a bunch of wizards to buff them up because they have a decent amount of attacks and stuff. So they're more of a halfway point between Guts and BCR kind of army. They have gigantic, annoying bases that get stuck on terrain, and it's hard to get all of them in. You probably should never play 6 ever, you know. But I think 150 is basically right for them. It's just not really worth building an army around them, I don't think, because of all sorts of other reasons, more or less. Whatever amount of Mournfang you used to run, you probably run the same amount now. You just get a nice discount for it. And maybe you can play a unit of 4 of and, you know, juice it up and really kind of blast in melee combat if you layer all your buffs right. That's like an option, I think, now. And it really wasn't before. But playing like, you know, in the sub-faction and 12 Mournfang, 3 units of 4, you know, really going all in, I don't think so. The points are right, it's just I don't think the rules kind of coalesce around it. Meat Fist Foot Ogre stuff is just better, and Monster Truck stuff is just better. But nice points drop. I think they're probably right, even. They're looking for one of those. It's not really even a war. Like, their War Scroll's not even bad, though. Their War Scroll's pretty decent. It's got anti-Unleash Hell tech on it. The problem is the army's rules interact poorly with what Mournfang are. The problem isn't even their War Scroll. It's the battle traits section. That, due to how all of your synergies work, it just sort of like excludes Mournfang from getting the good version of any of your different rules. It's hard to explain, but that's kind of how it is. It's weird. How are we feeling about the state of Foot Ogres? You're a Meat Fist guy. I think they're good. I think they're underrated. If you take the best player in the world and give them an Ogre army, I think they will do better with a Gutbusters version than with a Beastclaw version. For the most part. I don't think it's even close, for instance. But if you take the average one, then who knows? Who knows? Your buddy took Kragnos and Gutbusters. It's actually sick. He went 3-2 in the Champions. That's basically what I would expect. They're good. Gutbusters in Meat Fist is scary with a Kragnos rolling around in the middle of it. Those little tyrants with their mortals on 3-ups. Oof. You know? Kind of nice. Sigma Viewer. Nice. Thanks for the first time chat. You played Krag Meatfist for LVO. It was glorious. It is. People think Beast Claw is the impact hit. Half of the army. It's basically not. Because of Meatfist. That's a concern. Thanks for the insight. You've been running Meat Mountain. I was thinking maybe they might be worth it for screens and help with battle tactics. Mornfang, yeah. That's what they are used for. That's what they used to be used for, and that's what they are still now. You're in an awkward position as Beast Claw that Frost Sabers are so overpriced and so useless and cover so little ground that you actually use Mornfang as your chaff, basically. Which is weird, but you do. And so 150 instead of 170, I'm a buyer. Sure. Thanks for the follow. Do what thou will. Hey, there is a Fire Slayer. Somebody asked me before, was there a Fire Slayers? I couldn't remember. The answer is yes. Looks like some Auric Hearthguard here. And some Volkites. A big boy versus Doc. $150 points for chaff, you guess, but the price for the beef. I mean, the thing is, their battle line, that's their battle line, which is a big thing. You use them like chaff, but they can kind of fight sometimes, and they have a lot of wounds, and they have an anti-unleash health. Yeah, 150 is too much for chaff that only protects against like this much real space, but it's better than it used to be, I guess. How common are movement trays? You've seen a few in your pictures. People whose armies feature units of guys in excess of 15 or so tend to just always use movement trays. If you have units of 20, people just do them. They're all over the place. It saves time. You save your own time, you save your opponent's time. I mean, eventually you end up taking them off, but anything to save time, right? Big lore question. Is there a real reason Gutbusters need to be their own thing? Their lore seems thinner than Beastclaw. Can't the fat guys also be running from winter? I mean, I guess they could be. When you say need to be their own thing, now we're talking about rewriting stuff. And so I could say something like, well, Beastclaw have their whole thing, their whole lore. They have an army book from first edition where it was only Beastclaw and they never mentioned any Gutbuster stuff. In their society, if you're not on a mount, you have no rights, you're meaningless, you're dead. If you fall off your mount, it's like the fucking dudes from Game of Thrones, like that's it, you're too old, you're dead, you know, just stuff like that. It'd be weird to just shove a bunch of foot ogres in there willy-nilly. They're very different thematically and story-wise. You could change all of that since we're kind of talking about it, but I would prefer them to be their own thing. In fact, so far, their own thing that they're out of the book, like how it used to be. But that's never happening. In fact, it's going the opposite direction. So I think in the future, the two halves will get more and more implemented with each other, and eventually it'll just be all ogres again. To my chagrin. Yo, Sand Haunt? Night Sand? Oh, cool. A little pumpkin festive stuff. This is cool. Look at how creative this is. You know, who would think burlap pumpkin October kind of, but it works. It really works, I think. Yeah, Over the Garden Wall is what I was reminded of. That exact thing. I just forgot its name. How cool. And then Snow Steedy. Slaves to Weather. Oh, speaking of excellent chaff, we got a wall of goblins, actual maw being used, big shoots, big boys. Let's go. Versus SPGL. You love it if they leaned more into mercenary side of Gutbusters to separate them. I agree. Yeah, I, in general, agree. Lean more into the blood magic stuff, the culinary casting, and the mercenary stuff, maybe. Yo, a bunch of Vanguard over here. Over here. Oh, this is on the other side of the, Over the Garden Wall. Night Haunt. I'm gonna click away from that one because it had someone's phone on it. I don't wanna... 4 big guys. Oh, wait, actually, 5 big guys. King Broad detected. His movement phase takes 12 seconds versus Lumineth. Nice. Big... Oh. Super yellow picture. Oh, I guess the lighting was weird here. But nice little danger noodle stripes. Checkerboard pattern all over Maw Crusher. Absolute Monarch X. Thanks for the first time chat. A 40k player here, coming over to Age of Sigmar for the first time when 4th drops. Do you think Sylvaneth would be a good starting army? I've read they've had a rough time in 3rd, but maybe they'll be decent in 4th. Damn, you know, it's really hard for me to say what GW will randomly, quality-wise, make for an army when a new edition comes out. Because we're, you might know, we're getting indexes like 40k got. So this is the first edition that AOS is getting indexes. Will they do a good job with them? Not sure. Will they do a good job specifically with Sylvaneths? Not sure. That's a lot of future predicting. I could look at past events, but they hired new people since those past events, so... the best thing I can do is the annoying thing, which is, do you like the models? Do you like the lore? Do you like, in general, the playstyle that it tends to have historically? Everything else is such a huge question mark at this exact moment that it'd be pointless for me to opine about it. What's an index? When the edition comes out, they put every army's rules online, updated to the new edition, instead of waiting sometimes years for your particular battle tome to come out and just playing with the old edition, last edition's your army rules for 2 years. You get indexes right away. Are these indexes going to be a single subfaction like 40k? No. According to the video, the indexes will feature all of your rules. They said subfactions plural. They used plural on it. And all of your, like, spells and traits and artifacts and subfactions. I'm pretty sure they said subfactions. If they do a good job with the indexes, great. If they do a bad job with them, we complain. I don't know. So yeah, this is kind of an unsatisfactory answer, Absolute Monarch. If you like the lore, you like the models, you like in general the playstyle. And by like the models, I mean you like more than just like one thing. You like most of them or the battle line or something. After that, geez, it's hard to predict what Games Workshop is going to randomly do, so I can't say whether they'll be good or fun or... if I made predictions like that, I'd be out of a job because the GW is hard to call the shots for. They'll just, they do what they do. Hopefully they learned from the past, right? Based on the last meta watch, there is a pretty tight band in terms of win rate. Yeah, they finally wrangled the game to be virtually every army is in that 45% to 55%. Or was it 40 to 50, I think, is what they... Almost everyone is hovering around 50 somewhere. At least in the broad aggregate kind of thing. So... I mean, it's highly unlikely your army will be trash. We had trash armies in first edition. We had some trash armies in second edition. The worst armies in third edition were like twice as good as the worst armies in first and second. If that makes anyone feel better, which it may or may not. And the best armies in first edition were so good that they weren't even playing Age of Sigmar anymore. They were playing some other game. In second edition, everyone was mostly at least playing AOS. And in third, it's like, damn, this army's overpowered. It has a 60% win rate. Oh, okay, so not 75 like in second edition? Okay. Good, but, you know. Oh, this guy, his friend tracked me down, and he's like, go to table 3. This guy was hoping that you would be here and wanted to track you down. He made a gut plate. His very own gut plate with a foot for eating, you know, have some on the ride home. Plays Ogres, a tipping over maw pot, a lot of custom, tons of customization, pirate stuff, cannons all over everything. And cosplaying as an ogre with a gut plate. Big. Oh, I zoomed in a little bit. This is his custom Slaughtermaster. And being forced to, as a show of dominance, the ogres are forcing a Chaos Warrior and a Liberator to work together to pull the Maw Pot. Which I thought was funny. It's just good. You two have to work together to pull this shit. That's how dominated you are. Also, Nurglings having a bath in the tipping over Maw Pot. Bunch of cannons and pirate stuff all over the place. Arms and legs. Oh, I took a picture of the Snow Boys. Because it was a nice little moon picture. Nice little moon scene here. Bunch of disgusting, grotesque, square bases. Taking you out of it. But there are still some on circle bases. So we'll call it halfway. Good work, though. It snowed. It snowed at the convention center. Here's an outside picture. Here's the thumbnail I was going to use for something. And then now we're down to this. The ramen restaurant. You must use. 1 spoon good. 2 spoons great. 3 spoons awesome. If you ever go to this place, if you ever go to Chicago Ramen Annex, that the scoops of the spicy shit, 3 spoons is awesome. They are right. 3 spoons is the correct amount. Super good. And get the gyro style. Don't fuck with the other stuff. Put a little bit of fresh garlic in there, but, you know, not too much. Hell yeah, brother. Anyway. And then I took a picture of some of the golden demons that I was walking past. Some of the submissions for it that might not appear on the website. I was trying to take these pictures. The light was weird and the glass was weird, but you know, I'm working on it. You hope if Beastclaw ever gets new models, they make them look less like generic ogres and more their own thing. I agree. I would go one further, though. I think if Gutbusters ever get new models, they should look less like generic ogres. Because the whole point of Age of Sigmar is not to be generic Lord of the Rings ripoffs. Finally. We're moving a little more away from that. Everything's got to be more interesting or weirder or have more things pulled in for it. Just Lord of the Rings dwarves, nah, we're giving them, you know, sky ships and mohawks and all this stuff. Just high elves, no, they're gonna have Avatar, The Last Airbender, mountain spirits, and put some anime in there and all that. Just undead, no, we're gonna make them wolf vampires and have a blah blah blah, right? And so I think if you're going to refresh the line, which I'm hoping they do, they got to get Gutbusters something besides just an ogre lol, right? Just it's an ogre, it's a fat guy. I don't know. Pull something else in there, make them interesting. AOSify them up, in other words. I agree. Yeah, they do need an update. Oh, I love the look at the little friend. Look at Boy here. He's just a little guy. He's trying to be like his friends. Oh, like Big Bro. I'm gonna chomp too. And look at how, like, clearly not straight these spears are. Notable entrant. He's just a little guy. I'm showing you these because they probably don't show these on the website at all. But these are what is known as notable entrants. So you don't get like a prize, but they're noteworthy. And so this is like the level of quality to become notable, at least. Is the funny boys, these guys. Oh, this is not notable. This is very good. This is different. You've probably seen this one before. Yeah, they get a pin. That shit's hot. That underlighting. Boy. Kinda out of focus here. Nurgle Spire Tyrants. Look at that. Three-dimensional rust. The physicality. That hung out slime. The little tiny Bobeewuls. The shield. All pinned up. Oh, I took a different angle of these. Jesus. That is really super. These ones make you feel insecure. Notable entrant. Boy. Little orange and blue dynamic. Purple kind of rough with that. Working on OSL. Very dry brushy, you know? But starting to work on it, getting details. Really nice dragon beast head here. You played the same Gutbuster models as a teenager in fantasy battles. You're now in your 30s with kids, and you're still playing those same models. Yeah. Posing is weird on this one. I don't think this is a custom pose. I think this is the pose, maybe. This model is just weird, man. This sculpt. I found the sculpt to be strange. This giant weird codpiece to be stupid. I don't know. I have a lot of problems with Slaanesh sculpts, I guess. Maybe it's me. Oh, it is custom? Okay, never mind. I was wrong. He's trying to do like a cocky pose, I guess. Hey, anybody like freehand banners? What do you like this one? Some Invader Zim ass freehand background. Is that sculpted, this banner? No, flat as a board. Not bad. Very nice. You can see a few more that I just couldn't get pictures of, but we got a little night scene. Moonlight, hence the blue. Nice shadow here. Subtle but nice. A little bit of that firelight flickering, but not too much, not overdone. It probably would be a lot more than that, I think, but it's easy to make it look like too much, so. Just a very nicely painted bookman with a wonderful, I was gonna say checkerboard, not quite checkerboard, because no center circle. You only use Twitch once in a blue moon. Will there be a VOD of this live to check your thoughts on Abraxas? Yes. The VODs get auto-saved on my YouTube under live tab. And then the, what should I say? Like clips and stuff, like, this is this section, I talk about this for a half an hour, I talk about this for 10 minutes. That stuff goes on Heywoah Plus. So like edited VOD kind of stuff, Heywoah Plus. Straight VODs, main channel under live. A touch. Damn, I can't really. I mean, I could critique this. I'm such a worse painter than these people that it feels wrong to do so. The basing here is awesome and really excellent. Love the liquid, the reflections, the shiny, slimy wetness of it, the deep, rich colors, and then the model looks chalky. Person's a better painter than I'll ever be, but hey, let's critique anyway. You have to subscribe to that channel though for 18 big flats a month. You do not. I put them up for free. You can give me money if you like my stuff, but yeah, I put them up there for free. Anyway, isn't it interesting that person chose a normal Slann, kind of? Like, they come out with Croak, which is kind of a more interesting, bigger, more impressive thing, and they're like, nope, I'm gonna make a normal Slann, actually. Or maybe back in time when Croak used to be alive. And take the orrery off of it. Interesting restraint. Bunch of notable entries in the background. Huge. I don't think I got a picture of this one back here. He's a man of the people. Gorefather. The Wonderful Death Dealer homage. Fun. I love resin pours, so I'm a sucker for resin pours. If you do one, I'm gonna like it. You. And then here, you got the two pointing in different directions. You want to see Ninjan's piece? What was Ninjan's piece? Every year, someone has to do it. Someone has to make Slambo, the classic. He just defeated a Stormcast Liberator. Everybody's gotta... I mean, it's just required. You have to make a Slambo. Somebody has to do it. You don't know? He just placed? Oh, okay. He got bronze for a cities unit. I wonder if I accidentally took a picture of it. This one's looking good. Yo, stripy pants though. A basket of mushrooms. Another version. This one has a little more character to it, I think. Damn. Look at this. Look at this shading. This orc, dude. It's the one from the cover. It's the one from the cover. Impressive. Very nice. A crazy boy. Oh, bone splitters represent. And one bone splitter. A boingy swirly boy in funny colors. Oh, this one was cool. They did the famous artwork from the core book, you know. The cool, you know, red background, kind of comic look, where it's Archeon versus Sigmar, and he's reaching for the hammer. They did that. That's cool. I think I like it more conceptually because of that than the end product. I think the clear stuff looks weird, but still, I think it's cool. It's a cool idea. Proper proportion Archeon. Was that a Starseer in the last pick? Skink Starseer, right down here. Backed by infinity and the cosmos and funny snakes and little weird heads and stuff. Yeah, it was a fun one. Ladies. This one's hard to show in picture form. It was just kind of like, it was sort of perfectly painted, right? Looking kind of good. Any boys? Cruel boys? Going for the glowing up from the stuff you're stepping in art. Yeah, those are some good Merchia Mamenia. You want to see if anyone did the new IDK warband or the Soul Scryer from the Black Talons? I don't know if I took a picture of it. Did they all get a notable entry slip? The ones that they showed, yeah. Obviously, they don't show everybody's. They just show the noteworthy stuff up. Where do they get these cool display things? A plinth. Well, this is just a box, but these are plinths. You can get them from various places. They're common. And then sometimes they do, you know, like an entire scene. I'm trying to find one that did an entire scene, and I can't. Most of these are just on plinths. It's a funny word to say. But yeah, some people just do whole scenes as well, and then do freehand in the background. Everything cast in blue, little moonlight, softening the colors, shifting them a little bit. This was for a squad entry. Commended entry. I think the intention here is that they're blending in with the background, a little bit of a camouflage kind of thing, but it does muddle it a little bit. There's a lot of just blue and green, and you're kind of losing a little bit of focus. It's a touch muddled because of that. The scheme is so I think that's their intent, probably, to show that they blend into the forest. It is a little bit of a complaint. Like, I zoom out here, what's happening? You can see some shields and stuff, but otherwise, it's kind of getting lost in a TLC, a blue and green. It's like incredibly good work, obviously. Oh yeah, and then this one, the clear, obvious winner. This is a mirrored reflection in a pond. Right here. Vampire. But in a mirror, in a reflection, you don't see the vampire, right? Because they don't show up in mirrors. You see the ghost. Eyes up here, no eyes down here. The spirit trying to escape. What a wonderful scene. What a cool idea, isn't it? And on top of it, they had the audacity not only to have the best idea ever, but also to paint the damn thing perfectly. Ridiculous. When I first got here, people were like, have you seen the vampire mirror yet? And I had no idea what they were talking about. People just looked at these and they're like, yep, that's the winner. It doesn't matter. Yep, that's the winner. It's the one that wins. And that was basically the talk of Adepticon from when I got there. Is like, have you seen the vampire one? The one that's obviously going to win everything? Yeah, what a cool idea. What a cool modeling. Making it only touch in that one single area so that it looks like it's balancing. This is balancing. He's balancing. It's just, so not only do you have a great idea, but you follow through with it and do everything perfectly. Here, have your golden button. And that's it. That's the final picture. The vampire's using his powers to hold it up. Yeah, could be. Might be. Alright, done with the pictures. Damn, we went over the 4th edition stuff, Adepticon stuff. I probably still have more stories from Adepticon, but I'll trickle those out, just like they trickle out battle tomes. However, now we got indexes, so I guess it's fine. 5-hour stream, not bad. Hey, thanks for sticking around. I'm surprised so many people stuck around for a longer stream. Appreciate it. Expect a vid and a streams in the future as we move forward. Am I supposed to raid someone? Are we being a raider? Who else is streaming right now? I don't think I have a meme. I don't think I have a meme person to raid. Anyway, hey, thanks for watching. You can raid on YouTube? I'm not sure, Bahamut Bard. Can you raid on YouTube? Is that a thing? Is that a function that YouTube has? Maybe it does. I need to look into that. I should know, right? Damn. Hey, I'll look that up in the future. I wonder if that's a thing. Ahem. Anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Thanks for the subs and the bits and the primes. I'll see you later this week for more Twitch streams, where I will, I don't know, produce content, dude. Thanks for liking my stuff.